Whether you've ever been in that situation where you find yourself sitting on your hands or biting your lip the whole time because you don't want to say something inappropriate, or because you have let something slip that you didn't even know was something you were thinking. I think that's super juicy. That's the good stuff right there. Hello and welcome to Your Free Voice with me, your host, Julia Norton. This podcast is for people who use their voice professionally or for fun, and they want to understand how it works a bit better, or to get over old stories that might be holding them back. Whatever level you're playing at right now, my goal is to bring you lots of actionable stuff, from the technical to the creative to the deeply woo, to help you free your voice. Hello and welcome back. This is episode 46. I should not have said that. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that. Whether you're Hagrid or not, I bet you've had a situation where you've said something and immediately regretted that it slipped through your lips and you said it out loud in the world. Well, my friend, you are not alone, because we all do it. And the trouble is, what usually happens is we start to get this shame spiral immediately after it happens of, oh, I'm such a terrible person. What are they going to think of me? And I wish I hadn't said that. Where did that even come from? I didn't see that coming. I can't believe I said that. And we know now, right, that it's all coming from our unconscious. Of course, Freud is the most famous person that you think of when you think of slips. I mean, it's even Freudian slips is what we call them. And that's that idea of repressed material kind of slipping out into consciousness, into the daylight, and, often saucy and inappropriate material. However, if we go a little bit deeper and we think about it on a Jungian level, we're thinking about it being something that's coming from the unconscious altogether, right? So it's totally unconscious material. And what happens is somebody else will trigger us to say something, or we'll find ourselves in a stressful situation and we get a little bit activated, so we're kind of self-triggering. And this stuff just kind of blurts out from the unconscious. Because as we know, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. That's Carl Jung's famous quote. So the unconscious is really hard to work with because it's unconscious, and we have to take these little triggers, these little slips, these little outbursts, if you like, as the gift that they really are. Because what they're doing is giving us an opportunity to examine where that came from. How do I really feel about that? Oh my goodness. There's something going on in there that is actually of value to me. So rather than jumping on your shame train, oh, that's good, I'm going to keep that. So rather than jumping on your shame train, take those little slips and outbursts as an opportunity to dig a little bit deeper into your unconscious material. Maybe do some automatic writing, really definitely start tracking your dreams, because that stuff is always helpful. Maybe think about other times that that's come up. Can you think about what it was about that situation or that person that kind of triggered the outburst in the first place? And also, I think this one's really important and not often talked enough about. It's just understanding that you're a human person and you're not perfect. And in fact, that doesn't exist. But even then, you're not like good all the time, whatever that means. We're complex. We're multifaceted. Sometimes we're just kind of not as nice as we could be. And understanding that that's part of your humanity. Even the most righteous, right-on people in the world have their bad days, right? So think about that. Give yourself a little bit of grace and take it as an opportunity for growth. Because the trouble is, when we get into being so worried that we're going to say something that we'll then regret, we don't say anything at all. And some folks are raised in households that say if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all, which is really challenging in terms of vocal expression because it sets up all this tension in the vocal apparatus, in the breath, in our feeling like we can be a multifaceted, full person and that we just have to show people the light side all the time. And I think that really causes more trouble than it solves. So there. So can you think about a recent incident where you might have found yourself kicking yourself when you got in the car after the event, or when you shut the podcast window and, oh, I can't believe I said that, and really take some time with it. Really think about what that juicy trigger is telling you about your unconscious. Because you can only really become whole, you can only fully individuate when you integrate that unconscious material. And this is the work of middle age, right? This is the work of being in this middle chunk of our lives, is we need to integrate all the sides of ourselves, or everything that's been lurking in the shadow, the good and the bad, and integrate it. And I've said this before, but just to clarify, just because something got pushed into shadow because it wasn't acceptable in your culture or house growing up, doesn't mean it's bad. It just wasn't useful for your persona at that time when you were creating it. But you get to change your persona whenever you like. And that's just deciding that you're going to give yourself a bit more grace and, be a bit more aware of what is lurking around in your unconscious. Okay, so this is just a quickie, but, it happened to me the other day. I was in a fairly high-stakes interview situation, and I blurted something out in a defensive moment because, I had some resentment around a thing. And I caught it immediately and I felt terrible and kind of managed to pivot and change the conversation away from where I just thrown this wild arrow. But I felt so filled with shame afterwards, and I had to really examine what was going on. And I realized I'm still carrying some resentment around things. And so I'm actively working on releasing that right now, which is great. And I feel so much better. And I feel so much more able to, step into my spotlight, step into the space that I think I've always meant to take. So, yes. Yeah, let me know if that resonates at all. Let me know how you feel about whether you've ever been in that situation where you find yourself sitting on your hands or biting your lip the whole time because you don't want to say something inappropriate, or because you have let something slip that you didn't even know was something you were thinking. I think that's super juicy. That's the good stuff right there. Okay, let me know how you get on. Oh, and I have two lovely opportunities to work with me this year. So do jump on my events page and see what's going on. It's all about taking up space with your voice and uncovering the shadow so that you can move forward with a really strong foundation. And you'll get all that info at www.yourfreevoice.com/events. And of course, don't forget to follow and subscribe and share this podcast with your friends. Okay, thanks. Bye.